For the last 200,000 years, humans have occupied planet Earth. We have lived somewhat harmoniously with our environment, taking advantage of the symbiotic relationships that nature poses to us.
However, in the last 100 years, this mutual relationship has transformed into a parasitic one, with humans taking advantage of and exploiting the Earth. As a result, carbon dioxide levels are at an all-time high, and biodiversity levels are at an all-time low.
At this rate, for all we know, the world could end rather soon.
And this poses a severe issue to our well-being, as prom is next week, and I'd really like to go. And we kind of need the world to exist for that to occur.
It's a really well thought through argument there, thank you. This begs the question, how can we ensure that Antony gets a prom date? Or perhaps a comparatively simpler question, how can we as a civilization ensure our own future? Well, in our search for solutions, Zain and I have come across one sector that has shown a notable promise of doing so, the aerospace industry. One second. Antony, so your grand plan to your genius plan to get a prom date is to become an aerospace fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong there.
No, it's a good plan.
Okay. Tell me how this goes.
You got any better ideas?
No, just tell me how it goes. Anyways, with innovation specifically with regards to communications, weather modification, and interplanetary transportation, the aerospace industry stands to become a powerful solution to the issues plaguing humanity today.
And getting me a prom date.
And okay, to begin, when discussing how we can ensure the best case scenario for humanity, it's obvious that we must account for communications.
That's exactly right, Zain. By providing global communications to the whole human population and connecting them via the internet to the other 7 billion humans on planet Earth, we give them opportunities for education and employment.
But how can we do this, given that our best efforts today have led to nearly 60% of our population lacking internet access?
Well, Zain, the answer lies in aerospace technology.
Most of our current communications technologies depend thanks to satellites currently in orbit around Earth.
Like huge mirrors, these satellites in orbit around the Earth bounce signals from one side of the Earth to the other, allowing for almost instantaneous global communications.
In essence, by increasing the number of satellites in orbit and situating them for global coverage, aerospace companies can provide both broadband and telecommunications to our full population.
As a matter of fact, various aerospace-based startups are focusing in on this very idea, such as OneWeb.
OneWeb is a company whose mission is to provide affordable global broadband access by 2022 through an 882 satellite constellation. Moreover, through these increased efforts in providing global broadband coverage, aerospace companies have developed more effective software for communications, such as the 4G and LTE that we all use today. It's very likely that as time goes on, aerospace companies will continue to develop more effective software for communications.
In other words, the aerospace industry can and will provide global communications to the whole human population, thus ensuring a brighter future for us all.
Next, it's important that we address the issue of global warming. Considering the harm we are doing to our environment, it is evident that we require a mechanism to either monitor our environment or change Earth's natural processes to our benefit. But how can we do this, how can we do this in general?
Well, in terms of monitoring our environment at least, if we could situate a camera or sensor at every square kilometer of the Earth's surface, this could be possible. However, considering the sheer number of cameras and sensors that this would require, this doesn't seem feasible.
On the other hand, if we were to situate these cameras at an altitude of, say, 2,000 kilometers, we could monitor large expanses of land with a relatively few amount of cameras.
In fact, by situating these cameras in orbit from the North to the South Pole around the Earth, we can take advantage of the Earth's rotational motion and easily gain imagery of the entire planet Earth daily.
This tactic is already being used by various aerospace companies, including Spire and Planet, who plan to use their data to gain a holistic understanding of our environment and thus allow us to address the most pertinent issues that face us today.
This could allow us to foresee threatening storms such as hurricanes earlier, thus saving people's lives, or even allow us to monitor our true oxygen levels by monitoring rainforest density. In other words, with the world's data at our fingertips, the possibilities are endless.
On top of generating mechanisms to monitor our environment, aerospace companies are also developing means to change Earth's natural processes to our own preference.
The most common of these practices is cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a practice that involves the spraying of silver iodide, a chemical, into the clouds, which, through a series of chemical reactions, induces rainfall.
In fact, cloud seeding is used right here in the United Arab Emirates. In the UAE, cloud seeding is used to increase the amount of groundwater that we have at a relatively low cost, and can similarly be used around the world in order to bolster the agricultural industry, relieve drought, and ultimately meet our rising demand for clean water.
Through the practice of cloud seeding and many others, the aerospace industry can become a powerful solution to resolving many of the issues related to global warming.
Finally, in the case that all of these efforts to save humanity fail, or in the event of an inevitable disaster such as an asteroid collision with planet Earth, humanity needs an insurance policy, namely interplanetary colonization.
Zain, do you think I can find a prom date on Mars?
Well, you have struck out with nearly every human. Maybe extraterrestrials are the way to go.
Hey.
Good one. Anyways, many have speculated on humanity's ability to establish colonies on other planets, including Mars. In doing so, humans would have a second home, ensuring that if anything went wrong on planet Earth, we would not go extinct.
This idea is no longer the stuff of science fiction. Many companies today, such as SpaceX, actually have the goal of putting humans on Mars and are making tangible steps towards doing so. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has stated that he plans to land a cargo rocket on Mars by 2022 and a crewed rocket on Mars by 2024. SpaceX's ultimate plan is to land over 1 million people on the red planet in the next 40 to 60 years and eventually set up a self-sustaining human colony.
One of the main issues with interplanetary transportation and thus colonization is the price. SpaceX believes it has solved this issue with their interplanetary transport system, the basis of which relies on a more effective, reusable rocket codenamed the BFR.
The BFR will be the most cost-effective rocket in the world. Savings stem from the fact that it is reusable, it uses lightweight materials such as carbon fiber, and that it uses mass-produced engines such as the Raptor 9. The BFR will consist of two main parts, the booster and the spaceship.
To get to Mars, multiple BFRs will have to be used to refuel one spaceship, which will eventually make a 3 to 4 month journey to planet Mars with cargo or a crew of up to 100 individuals.
SpaceX plans for the BFR to replace all of its current rocket architectures. These include the Falcon 9, the Heavy, and the Dragon. This means SpaceX plans for the BFR to be used for purposes more than just interplanetary colonization. The BFR will be used to put satellites into orbit, and even for purposes such as Earth-to-Earth transportation, both of which will help SpaceX pay for the interplanetary transport system, which Elon Musk has estimated will cost about $10 billion in development.
In doing so, SpaceX has opened up the aerospace industry to the public. It plans to make the cost of a trip to Mars a mere $200,000.
That's only about the cost of an average American home. However, SpaceX still has many obstacles to overcome before making this a reality. It is already an industry leader. In 2018, it has launched 8 out of 8 successful rockets.
Going forward, it looks bright for the aerospace industry. As the sector continues to grow, demand for jobs in nearly every field will increase, creating possibilities for all of us.
As we transition to our next stage of life, it is important to keep the aerospace industry at the forefront of our minds, as it could create fulfilling career opportunities for all of us, students, parents, and teachers in the audience here included.
Such vocations will not only put individuals at the cutting edge of technology, but will also serve the altruistic purpose of ensuring humanity's survival and thus giving young Antony here a chance for a slim chance for a prom date.
The late Stephen Hawking put it best when he said, "Aerospace is our future." Thank you.
Thank you.